much in their hate for me, and I welcome their hatred. Good morning, everybody. It is a Tuesday. Is that the day of the week it is? I can't really tell anymore. Now that we have a We the People on a Monday, it's really throwing me off because then it feels like a Wednesday. It makes us feel like a Thursday, but I don't do a show on Thursdays, so I got to figure out what we're doing here. There's lots of stuff going on besides the world falling apart at the seams. How is everybody today? I hope everybody's safe. Just trying to get volume adjusted here. Good morning, everybody. Melissa and Al and Katie. Katie's going to be back with us. She's back from holiday. Is that what you Europeans do, is holiday? We over here, we don't get those anymore. We take breaks, short breaks. But Katie went off and had some time with family, and now she's back, and she's going to be doing reporting for us, and I'm very excited for that. And good morning, Jonathan and Schultze. How are you, Kat? And yeah, we got our Germans. I'll bring them in. Special intro this morning. I just want to say hi to everybody first. And Barbara and Ellis. Hey, I'm just, for everybody before I forget, I know that I get a lot of these Facebook, hey, you met Ellis a year ago and this person a year ago. I don't do anything with any of them, so don't feel offended. I just ignore them all. Davey Z, how are you? Thank you for being, we were talking earlier. Kimo, how are you? Barbara. Good morning, everybody. All right, I'm sure I'm missing a whole bunch of people, but we'll catch you. Good morning. Melissa, we will get in touch and get your friend at the bookstore, figure that out. We're going to do that today. I know everybody's hit me up. If you're in Slack, before I forget, don't DM me. I get a zillion messages. We need to talk in a general chat or somewhere like that. I can't answer them all, so I probably sound like I'm being a dick because I don't respond to you, so I apologize. Anyway, let's bring on Markus, who's going to say good morning to you. Good morning, Markus.
Guten Morgen, John. Guten Morgen, Dennis. Und guten Morgen, Amerika. Herzlich willkommen zur heutigen Ausgabe von Awake with John, Dennis und Markus. Dennis?
And now Dennis.
Yeah. Günaydın arkadaşlar. Günaydın John. Günaydın Markus. Hey everybody. Let's start with the show.
Awesome. Thank you guys. That was really cool. That was, if you couldn't tell, Markus was saying good morning in German. Dennis was saying good morning in Turkish, correct, Dennis?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's really cool. And what?
So, but I also added another word. Günaydın means good morning, and arkadaşlar means friends. So I said in Turkish, good morning, friends.
Very nice. Yeah. And the rest I said after Good Morning America was that I announced that I got a high pay raise from Upper Media.
Okay.
Didn't I?
Yes. It came with the big title that I'm handing Markus, which is the Overlord of Content. And we're going to call it that, Overlord. I like that better, Overlord of Content. And that does come with a big pay raise. It really does. Someday that will come through. It's always just adding zeros to the check. So
yeah, I can wait. And if you need bigger checks, I'll take care for this.
Chilima, good morning, half of North America.
Oh yeah.
Markus, don't forget to note everything he's owing you. Sorry.
I'll make a review later.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Hey, Elam, I know the Apple keynote is on. I guess they're announcing a new the phone, and I just find it insignificant anymore these days compared to what we got going on, don't you? I mean, really. I guess it's a nice distraction to see what the new iPhone is. Let's hope it can do something about climate change. All right, that's where I'm at. But anyway, I didn't mean to like take a left turn and get all super serial, but we need to get super serial because there's a lot of shit going down around the world. It's not just the American government that's falling apart and flinging poo. We got climate change really screwing things up. And let's the card is David Horsey. Right? That's I love David Horsey. It's a great article he's talking about the climate change deniers are the ones politicizing climate change by attaching it to things like gerbs. And they're we got to remember the media is a big portion of this, but we're not in good shape, folks, as far as humanity surviving. And what we just witnessed in Florida with Irma, which wasn't as bad as scientists at Weather Channel had thought it was going to be. It moved. It was very unpredictable. It was still unprecedented in many ways. A Category 4 hitting land, as big as it was. I mean, it was ridiculous. And the amount of damage is insane. In the billions. They're talking, homes flooded. People still can't go back home to many of the places. The keys are completely leveled, destroyed. There was a 10-foot water surge on that one key, the Cujo key. Right? I guess we'll have to wait and see just how much damage was done in the coastal areas in the cities, Tampa and Naples and all that stuff. But will it be enough? Will it be enough for these people to pull their heads out of their asses? And I'm talking government folks. I'm guessing that the guys that got their homes leveled by this, if they don't wake up to climate change, you get what you deserve. Really, at this point, and for those poor souls who really understand what's going on and are powerless to do anything about it because you don't have the means, I feel sorry for you. You're the ones who are suffering the most for doing the least, and I really hope that Florida wakes the fuck up in the midterms in 2020 and gets rid of Governor Rick Scott. Maybe you can ban Rush Limbaugh from broadcasting in Florida. Just get that gas bag out of there, right? And Melissa, yes, we'll work it out. And don't worry about that. I wasn't talking about you specifically in terms of slacking, all that stuff. The truth is, I'm forgetting how many things we got going on. Like Marcus, hey, we got this. Oh yeah. Like we're in the process of delegating responsibilities and tasks. But one of the things that I have to do is like actually have a calendar of shit that's going on, and we don't have like a master of that yet. It's a lot of stuff happening as this expands into reality. And yes, I just bounced right out of climate change into talking about the nonprofit. Sorry. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Thank you, fish oil, for working like speed on my brain. Anyway, Bev, good morning. Wow, I can't get over how cool those 300 diamond rings are. What are we talking about, Schulte? Probably start trading this fall. Interesting. Melissa, the damage to the Virgin Islands and the Caribbean is insane. Funny how Americans won't talk about that. Only Irma as bad as it could have been for some. Oh, I know. We're not talking the British Virgin Islands. Pummel, right? Barbuda, just gone, wiped off the face of Earth. Right? We don't talk about damage outside of damage to the USA because it's hard enough to get people within the USA just to give a shit about that. They don't even care about outlying islands. Puerto Rico, fuck them. Hawaii, who gives a fuck? Nobody cares about it. It's got to, literally, with Americans, it has to hit them on the fucking head to get them to, But that's not their fault. It's because we've been raised and indoctrinated through an educational system that's designed to put us to sleep. And the difference is evident when you look at 47-year-old me, 49-year-old Marcus, and then go find a generation younger Dennis and somebody in America. And the education system, drastically different over here in America. It's improved in Germany, and I know they can go, step on it, whatever. Still got a better education system. Everybody in Germany speaks 2 languages at least. You can't say that about Americans. Everybody in America gets an opportunity to dabble with a language, and none of them speak a second one because of their fucking high school education. None. Anyway, I could go off about education here, but that's really what it comes down to is ignorance. And the reason I want to say that is because we're going to look at an article by Naomi Klein that basically is the reality check for humanity. But before that, we need to talk about events. I know I'm getting into heavy stuff. We the People, Bobby Mahendra. That's tomorrow. And Markus and Content Crew. Who was on your content crew now, Markus? Who was everybody?
Okay, I'm very happy that I've got now a very, very nice and good content crew. They are in the combination. One team is Lynn Patch with Jeff Pearson. The other team is Lynn Vermont with Jim Lockett, and wonderful people. I had a hangout with them and explained everything. I hope everything, and it was understandable for them. And they are already started work the moment after we finished the hangout, and we're happy to have you, and great work so far, and we need you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. And this is just getting everybody in the volunteer org focused on something specific. If you want to be, you don't have to be, and so we really thank those folks for stepping up and being a part of the content crew with Overlord Markus.
Not overlord, it's overload.
Nice. Not even gonna go there. Hey, Patricia Hernandez, good day. Robert, how are you? Hey, everybody. Some new people. Dewey, good to see you. Sandra, how are you? Denise, nice to see you. Bev, good to see her. Hey, Phil. Climate has changed. Will we adapt? We'll adapt as much as we can. How do we adapt to more frequent and more horrible Hurricane Irmas? I don't think I suppose we can. Start building giant fucking walls, house windows with concrete shutters. I don't know. We'll figure it out, I guess. What's really going to happen is adapting means migration away from coastlines that are disappearing. And that means a lot more people moving inland.
Oh.
And a lot of people don't even have the ability to. I was already hearing on the news this morning where people are screaming, where are we supposed to go? We're not allowed back into our homes. We don't have anywhere else to go. Can't go to the shelters. We don't have any money. So we got people basically camping around Florida because they can't get back into their homes. And even if they can get back into their homes, most likely they're all fucked up and destroyed. And there's no power. And we're not at the end of hurricane season. I mean, Bill Nye, the other day, this is going to be the norm. Welcome to the norm. No, climate change did not cause the hurricane. That's weather. Climate change made the hurricane much more worse. That's climate change. That's why it's called change, right? We all know this. We just got to teach Lamar Smith and Scott, Governor Rick Scott Snyder, whatever the fuck that asshole is down there in Florida. We just got some people to learn on that, right? Anyway, Bobby Mahendra, We the People. And then we're doing this thing with Political Revolution, political-revolution.com, right? PolRev Live on Reddit. I'm calling it an engagement broadcast AMA. It's a combination of acronyms, EBAMI. Basically, an AMA, from now what this old fart understands, is just a really expanded conversation that allows for threading within questions so that we can really dive into the discussion. Unlike YouTube's chat, which is very limited and linear, and if you miss something, you're like, holy shit, right? So we're working out a way to combine the engagement broadcast, bring the candidate or whoever it is being, ask me anything onto our system. Then they can answer the main questions that we will have already gotten beforehand, because the AMA starts gathering these questions before the candidate starts answering. But then the candidate will have time to be able to address some of the deeper threaded issues, because they're not going to, have to type all this shit out. And so we're working out how that's going to go, and we're going to do one this Saturday. Is that when we're planning, Markus?
The Saturday is the test version with Sam.
All right. So this Saturday we're doing a test version with Sam Ronan. Depending on how much we have our shit together or don't have our shit together, we might broadcast it. I'm not going to say yes or no, because I want to see what it all looks like and if it can even flow that way. But we're gonna do a dry run and practice the concept of getting this done, and then we're gonna plan one, promote it, and test it out as the new expanded version of these things, combining these two worlds and seeing how that goes. So join us for that. And Anything you want to add, Marcus?
No, everything perfectly explained. I think we have quite a bit to do to work out how the possible rundown may look like, and I think it is good that we have the test on Saturday and to see what we can do and how things should be changed, if at all changed. And if you can join us,
Yes, absolutely. Reading some of the comments, you're absolutely right, Julie Love. We shouldn't be calling it climate change. It's a climate crisis that we're in the middle of. It's climate catastrophes that we're going to watch happen. And right now, there are many happening around the world. Right? Not just what we got going on. And there's still a tropical storm system creating flash flooding and problems in the south. Like climate's not silent today just because mass media isn't covering a hurricane anymore. You know, we're, as Naomi Klein says, we're in a planetary death spiral. And the planet's going to be fine. We probably won't be. That's the thing. We probably won't be. Wait, hang on. So let me see. After Bobby, because Laura Livengood has just been kicking serious ass at booking people for this. Gail McLaughlin, running for Lieutenant Governor of California on, wait a minute. Oh, no, I was looking at the wrong dates. There you go. Freaking out. On 9/18. There you go. And then on 9/20, Doug Applegate for Congress, California. 9/25, Kathy Martin. Look at this. We just booked. We're going. It's badass. That's a schedule right there. Yeah, that's a schedule. If I were getting paid by the show, I'd be a rich motherfucker right now. I got a lot of zeros. Seriously.
Just imagine. This would be your schedule at CNN.
Oh my gosh. That would be fun.
Figures. 2 1-hour shows per week, John. You are a millionaire, multi-millionaire.
Maybe someday I could do these shows with like Wolf. Just have fun with him. That'd be great.
Okay.
Have him add questions. Then I can just say, "Why'd you ask that question? What a dumb question, Wolf."
No, he would be the guy who serves the drinks. You know, the water.
Oh, right. There we go. The best boy.
Best boy, yeah.
Laura is a rock star. She absolutely is.
Yeah, Laura is absolutely great.
John Warren, I don't know about you, but my TV was nothing but hurricane coverage for the last 2 weeks. We were, Weather Channel. We weren't watching Game of Thrones because James is on a catch-up to everybody else. So, Game of Thrones, a couple of episodes back, and then Weather Channel. You know, what a letdown for them. Gotta understand, like the Weather Channel, that's what they live for, going and reporting on the exciting stuff. So now they gotta bring all that energy back down and report on rain. Partly cloudy skies. You know? At the same time that they're frightened to death of the climate crisis and the fact that they're all probably gonna die too, they're very excited to be capturing it all on film and stand in the middle of it. You know?
Yeah.
I noticed that. Did you know? You know, with their team.
Yes. There was one. I don't know what station it was. I think it was MSNBC or CNN. She was running through a suburb, and a lot of trees were already in the streets and struck down by lightnings. And she was walking around there, and I think I was a heavy wind was going there, and I think, girl, go off the street. You know, one big branch, and you are gone. You know, what are you doing there?
Right, but that's I mean, they planned themselves. We watched Jim Cantore. I'm starting to know the Weather Channel guys like I would know the newscasters, right? And he got nailed. One of those dudes got nailed in the face with a tiny piece of palm frond, right? And it's like we couldn't even see it. It just pelted him in the face, and he's like, I got to take a break because the shit's moving, 100 miles an hour. And if you want anything that indicates physics, that mass times force equals acceleration also is the same formula when used in a different way to calculate force, because that's right.
Yeah. The force, it doesn't matter how big the object. Yeah. It's the structure.
Physics. Anyway. Absolutely great was the news that everyone was warned to shoot in a tornado.
Oh my gosh!
Because the bullets might come back. This raised the question to me: who in the hell? What purpose does it make to shoot in a tornado.
Oh no, we have I fucking love science on an article about that because Noah actually did research to just to satisfy everybody's desires. We actually have the I'm going to talk about it. We have the calculations that explain why even nuclear weapons wouldn't do what they think they would do. And so we're going to go over that. Because it's an interesting thought. I mean, we got all these weapons. What are we going to do with them? And so we'll cover that. Yes, it's a horrible idea, and it's remarkably stupid. But why not? Why not have Noah look at it? They're not being asked to do much else anymore by the federal government. Anyway, I want to back up on a couple things. Melissa H., don't worry, John. They'll have monster snowstorms to cover soon. Very true. Maybe. I don't know. We've been getting less and less winters. Maybe there'll be some serious dumps. Maybe not. I don't know. Either way, they'll have some interesting weather to cover. You're absolutely right. And John Warren says they'll have more extreme events. Hurricane season is not over at all. And we really don't know how long it's going to last because seasons are kind of up and down right now. We've got stuff that is re-blooming in our orchard that should not be re-blooming. That's how weird the harvest season has been. I've talked to other farmers that have talked about stuff that has come out either remarkably small or not at all. I mean, this is just our little neck of the woods. It's got to be affecting massive farmers, big farmers as well. Yeah.
John, but this is a global thing. It's not just an American thing.
Oh, I know.
Our seasons here in Germany are also messed up. It's too warm here in September. When I was little, it was way much colder than today. And not here. In Asia, Africa, you can watch everywhere. Yeah. So,
yeah,
we will have food shortage everywhere.
We already do. We already do. We just don't have it in our particular areas. Yeah. Marcus, what were you going to say?
No, I just wanted to agree what Dennis said. It is logic. If the oceans are rising, there is less land. There is less land to harvest plants or something like this. And it will be a giant movement if it goes on like this. Yeah, people will leave their places, and we will see where they will go.
And the value of real estate on the coast is going to drop, and the value of real estate in North Dakota is going to go up.
Yeah,
because North Dakota,
I would like to add a little thing. But we also don't have to forget water resources, because there was a study a couple of years ago. You can imagine the whole water on Earth is in a bathtub, and the water we can use to drink and so on is just a little tiny glass out of the whole bathtub. So therefore you can see it's not only food. The most important thing is water. We can survive without food for 2 or 3 weeks, but without water, so yeah.
Very true. And you know what else? Exxon is shitting right in that little glass. They're hovered over it. Well, we all are, basically, with our use of fossil fuels. Yeah. That's the truth. I want to back up on some things that were said up here, and I see you guys talking to John Warren about watching TV and why. I'm with John Warren. There's a good reason to watch MSM and other TV. I watch TV for entertainment, right? I watch TV because there's some shows that come on TV that you really can't see elsewhere. I think it's necessary every once in a while to watch MSM News just to see how they're fucking with the narrative, right? You need to know what your enemy's saying so you know how to combat that bullshit. I think that's important. I agree with John that C-SPAN is painfully truthful. If you want to see how ill-equipped, inadequate our government is, watch C-SPAN. And then go watch British Parliament, whatever that's called, D-SPAN, and take a look at what the hell goes over there, because that's so much more exciting. It's so much more fun. I mean, I don't know if they're any more effective, but I love watching British Parliament talk, because at least those folks are, like, alive.
At least it is comparable, not from the entertainment factor, but what's going on there. It's a giant play. What we see in the British Parliament, what we see in the German Bundestag, everything is already decided or discussed behind closed doors. What we see is acting.
Oh yeah, you think so? You don't think that's them really having that discussion? You think that's all bullshit?
Yes.
I'm depressed. Well, then it's entertainment and it's entertaining.
The whole discussions you see in your European parliaments, it's just a show off. The real legislations and all other stuff will
set up and decided.
You know, all these commissions and also on all the thing in the back room and with the cigarettes, smoking and stuff. This is the same thing here in Europe. It's not really difficult. Which you guys, from an American perspective, get the impression our parliaments are more lively and so on.
Well, but hang on now. Regardless of where the decisions are made, your governments aren't as fucked up in general, and they do get more shit done. Okay. Then I'll just go to Germany. We can't look at Turkey, but we can look at Germany. Okay. So.
Yes, but I just want to point out if anything how our politics in reality looks like in the end. What we see on TV in those discussions, in those debates, it is staged. You know.
Well, that's unfortunate. But here's a note for our mainstream media: if you'd like to get better ratings, broadcast C-SPAN and let's put politicians in there that actually want to be alive. Bernie Sanders is very fun when he's up there doing things, right? Jeff Merkley's fun when he's up there doing things. Mitch McConnell, not so much, right? If you're gonna entertain us, guys, let's up the game. Make it like Parliament. I mean, the decisions they make, I don't care where you make them, and I don't care if what you're showing us is bullshit. We get it on TV, so at least do it. At least show us how you would like to represent the choices you make behind the scenes. That's what I'm saying. Right now, America's dead. Their politicians look dead. Oh, except for the new ones coming in. I got to say that, right? We've got a lot of new ones coming in. We've got a lot of new ones challenging. As a matter of fact, today, right now, there's a whole bunch of shit going on in New York to elect some new politicians. And I'm not even full up on it, but PollRev Live actually gave us I had a couple links from there. I got to find the right one. Where'd it go? Well, it's in ground game. We'll talk about that when we get to ground game because we're not there. But New York's got a bunch of elections for people today. And I believe Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is one of those folks. I could be wrong. I'm a little confused about that stuff.
Okay.
But I think she's one of the people who is... Check it out if you will. Seriously, I went to look at the ballot thing. Davey Z dropped it in. Said, here, check it out. I'm looking at it. I'm going, she's on there. So anybody in New York right now? And I mean, if so, or let's get on Twitter, and if you're not, and let's show support. Our Revolution posted a thing, but I haven't seen. I guess I haven't seen anything from Brand New Congress or Brand New Congress or Alexandria Ocasio. So maybe their thing happens another time. Maybe I'm being stupid. I don't know. I wish I knew more. Anyway, stuff's going down in New York. Like elections happening now. Probably not being talked about by MSM, but we're electing people for city council. Our Revolution put out a thing with like a bunch of names of people, and that was why I was wondering because her name wasn't on it. So, yep, you just vote. Oh, so Jonathan A. just said I just voted for Cortez. Thank you. Well, we'll keep up on that, and I hope good luck to her and every progressive out there in New York that needs to get rid of an establishment piece of shit. We got less time. By the way, tweet like at 3 a.m. Nancy Pelosi not down with Bernie's plan. So I sent her a tweet. We don't really give a shit what you think. You're retiring. Get the hell out of office. We need to support Stephen Jaffe. We need to make sure we get rid of Nancy Pelosi. She is just a pain in the ass. Has no interest. She thought she did a big old win with her little deal with Donnie and whatever. She's not looking out for us. She's not looking out for the interests of people. She takes a bunch of fucking money from big corporations, and she's half brain dead because she's too old to be in office and have her brain work right. She just doesn't think correctly. Her and Diane both. Every time I hear them talk, I'm like, what the fuck is coming out of your mouth? So please, God, in California, get rid of this woman. Vote for Stephen Jaffe. Send that guy some money. All these candidates need money. They need a lot of money. And we got to help them. School board elections today here, says Ellis. Yes, best of luck, New York. Ellis, where are you? Are you New York? Shit, I should know. If I'd looked more carefully at the Facebook thing, I'd probably know.
It was on Reddit. We got a message from them.
I know. I'll get it. They have a. Let me find it, guys.
I'm checking it also.
Well, I wasn't going to go to this, but here we are. It's the one with the little Reddit list.
I got it, yeah.
Here, hang on. There. So this is Political Revolution on Reddit. Progressives for the people. And today's a big day in both general and primary elections for the revolution. Look at all this stuff going on. Iowa has school board elections in 10 major school districts. Mississippi has a special election to fill the seat of State House District 102. New Hampshire has a special election to fill the seat of State House District.
Every major country that guarantees health care to all people.
Oklahoma has
Medicare
a
for all systems
special
about
election
saying
to fill the
we
seat
got a
of
good
State House
program
District
now for
46.
seniors.
Minnesota's
It's
got
called
nothing. New York has
Let's
many
make that
primary
program
states,
available
including
to every
school
man,
districts,
woman, and
5
child
county level,
in this country.
counts 1 city level, 4 major county municipal. Holy shit, there's a lot of democracy going on
I
today.
understand you're introducing a Medicare for all bill.
I hope
what
everybody
is
is out there present
What it
and
is,
voting and doing what
it's
you can
finally
do
coming
for the
to
progressive
terms
candidates.
with a
Ohio
very
does stuff.
fundamental issue. And that is, as a nation,
That's
we
awesome.
have got to finally decide
These are things
whether health care
that
is
I would not have
human
given a
right
shit about or known
or it is
about
not.
prior
With
to
every-
Bernie Sanders. None of this stuff. This is democracy at its boring level, that we weren't working, that we need to work so that we can put people in power, so that we can once again sit back and relax while our government is in good hands. Yeah. But we only get to relax until we see what's going on with the government. We never get to fall asleep again. Just relax. Well, we're like years and years and years away from relaxing. Got that? It's like,
John,
yes,
can I ask you something?
sure.
Is it true that American civics is not taught in your high schools anymore? This is something I heard in some forum in the internet. Is it true?
It was not a part of my high school curriculum. I got civics from a Boy Scout merit badge, and my dad taught the merit badge.
Oh, okay. This explains a lot.
It's not a required course.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for the information.
Neither is critical thinking. Critical thinking might be a undergrad required course freshman year in college, but that's it. And they don't really go beyond that in the basic course of, you really should use your brain, kids. All right, go on, get drunk, have sex. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. Critical thinking is not wanted.
No, they teach our college kids to conform.
Yeah.
Anyway, back up here. I had some other stuff. I was going to run just a few clips. This is Cuba. This is one of the first ones I saw of some of the damage, and I wanted to just run this.
Devastating.
Estaban muy mal asustados porque era muy fuerte todo lo bien. Y hoy es que se pudo ver a la luz ya el día ya todo como estaba. Se cae, todo eso se cayó por allá abajo, se cae, dieron cosas por arriba, están ahí, ¿cómo se llama esto? Bastante daño. 49 años que llevo viviendo aquí, primera vez. Siempre ha habido un poco de penetración del mal y eso, pero nunca ha llegado así a este límite, así a este pedo.
Esto va a ser catastrófico porque muchos edificios aquí no están preparados para tener un diluvio de agua como este.
I left that on there with the Spanish because figure we got to have some people here that speak Spanish, and you got a lot more out that than we did. The visuals pretty much say it though. That's the same kind of scene that was happening in the Keys. Yeah. The Miami, just a little bit more on the climate. This is the Miami mayor, and his statement is, if this isn't climate change, I don't know what is. The Gov still thinks differently. This is my favorite piece of news, though, on it, is that Mar-a-Lago has flood insurance policy through the federal government. So if you were all hopeful that Mar-a-Lago was going to get destroyed, I don't know how bad it got hit. Maybe it didn't get hit that bad. I wasn't even paying attention to that. I didn't care. Because our tax dollars are going to fund for the rebuild of Mar-a-Lago because it's got a very controversial insurance plan that is covered under the federal government that he re-upped right before this thing. Oh, okay. That's hilarious. Not only to make me feel like an even dumber American, that didn't sound like French to me, but it probably was.
The audio was Spanish, the subtitles were French.
The audio was Spanish, the subtitles were French. There we go. No wonder I was confused as fuck all. So there, just back off. The Germans got it.
Yeah, that's speak the 3 languages on Cuba.
That's amazing. What a bunch of communists speak 3 languages.
Yeah. Free healthcare and so on. That's Cuba for you.
Only one language, American.
Yeah, what is American?
Whatever language I decide it is today. Funny looking German. It's the language of freedom.
Shut up, right winger, asshole.
Gerbs.
Yeah, let's move.
Dennis took one of our gerbs, by the way.
Yeah.
But in Germany.
In Germany.
Yeah.
Dennis got a good job. He's all happy about it. He even gets like a car. So be angry, redneck Americans. Other foreigners took a job. Anyway, I thought this was badass. I didn't even know he could do this. But it also makes you wonder if you're a hacker and you had some skills and had access to a Tesla. Because apparently with just a little unlocking of some software, he was able to extend the range of all of the vehicles to the full capacity of whatever they have. And that's like, I could see an aftermarket add-on. It's like, buy this software for $180 and extend your Tesla. Make it go full nuclear. Anyway, I thought that was cool that he did that for the people fleeing the hurricane.
Isn't it worrying on the other side that he has the power to manipulate this stuff in his cars? I think it's not only cool, it is also worrying.
It is very worrying because you got to trust that he doesn't just jump in there and do something bad, right?
Yes.
But this is the nature. So I'll just say this: we've had this relationship with software makers for decades. Right?
What does it mean?
Well, I'm just saying, so he's extended, because the car functions on software and it's an electric vehicle, we have to extend the same trust that we do to our PCs and our home alarm systems to our vehicles. If we're going to reap the benefits of having a software synced electric vehicle.
Well, I don't know. In these times, talking about trust is, I don't know.
I trust Tesla. I trust Elon Musk.
He has the power. Google has the power. Amazon has the power. They all have the power, and they are acting in parts. I already said it a few shows earlier before that they cannot. In parts they do not respect democracies. And this is what I completely dislike about that.
Markus, just call it by the name. They are part of the owner class.
Yes. They are the
owners of the world. The big corporation of this world rule the world, not the politicians and all the others.
Exactly.
Big corporations.
Exactly, and I read an article about it. What was before until today maybe was represented by the banks complete power. The banks are not anymore that powerful in the future because it will. You can say so drastically. Our future, our fate will be commanded in Silicon Valley, and I don't know. These people are living in a bubble themselves, and. I'm worried, You have a group of people who decides for all the other people on the world, and there is no democratic process around this. Nothing It is a fact. They present us facts, you know.
Yeah, but
So-
as long sorry, John.
No. I'm liking what I hear you say here. I just want to say, and I'm seeing it in the audience. People have the power, right? I just want to go back to that. If you don't like, if it scares you that Tesla has this power with his cars, then we have the ability to write laws that make it so he can't do that one way or the other, and that we can punish him if he does it one way or the other for one reason or another. That's the power we have against the corporation who has things to do. But we have to trust that. We trust banks.
That is the power we should have. It has nothing to do with reality. It is. If people had the power, we wouldn't have Trump. We wouldn't have a candidate Clinton running against them in the general election.
Oh, well, let's go globally, not just the United States.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys over there, you guys can institute laws against Tesla if you're worried about that shit, and you could do it a lot faster than we can over here.
But the problem is the technical future is in America, is in Silicon Valley, you know. It's not.
It's in the people that are employed in the tech industry. That does not mean it's in Silicon Valley. And if we start removing those people, they're going to move to France and they're going to work there.
It is a question. The question I raise is in how far are they Democrats or are they really serving the people?
So you're worried about trust of these people that have had the ability to fuck our lives already for decades. It's
but it will get worse, John.
It might.
It will get deeper. It will get deeper. Now you can install things in your house which arrange everything. It takes care that your refrigerator is filled and stuff, that the lights are going on and all this stuff. You know, this could also be a complete supervision. You know, we already have this what internet concerns. I know this.
Oh, and I can hear somebody from the turn of the century saying, and now we have these phones where you can just reach out and talk to somebody and you don't have to go to their house, and we have these things driving us around, these beasts, these animals driving us around, and they're killing us and they're scaring the horses, and I don't know what we do with the technology. Lordy help me. Lordy help me.
Yeah, the trains. I know what you mean, but it does it mean that I'm completely wrong about it? Aren't there dangers? The dangers are real.
The dangers are as real as we let them be. All right.
How much power do we have to oppose them?
As much as we give ourselves, as much as we take.
Yeah,
as much as we take. In Germany, you guys have taken a lot more than we have here, okay? In America, we're in the process of taking it back. If the corporations only do this because they can't. Tesla unlocked the stuff, and that was a good thing to do. Are we going to sit here and say, oh, well, he did a good thing, but that means he's going to do a bad thing later? I mean, come on, what kind of a, if we're trying to create a world of higher beings where we're intelligent and we trust each other, then give the trust.
I see, and this is remarkable, and I like it, that this is an example of an American view on things and a German view on things. I see in John there is the optimism about the thing, and I'm more the skeptic guy. And maybe this is typical German, typical American. What do you say, Dennis?
Yeah, I agree with this, but I also want to say about the whole discussion you guys had. It was fantastic. But to bring it to the point, as long as we as humans, as people, believe in the system we are having right now and following it and working for it and so on, nothing will change. John, you say we have the power, but most of us are thieves. We are following the wolves. As long as we are doing this and we don't educate ourselves and so on, nothing will change.
As long as you keep saying, but most of us are sheep, you sell us out. I think more wake up every day. I think America's got the worst problem. We are the problem child. We're the ones with the most sleepy people. So, we're working on the problem right now. We found the big cancerous tumor. Are we going to find it before the Earth kills us? No. But, it's a valiant effort.
Yeah. Of course, it's worth every effort. No question. But as I said, I think there is your American point of view, and there is my German perspective.
Oh my God!
There we are different somehow.
The chat is all over it too. Katie's like, "I'm with Markus, European view."
Yeah, we are a little bit suspicious about power because we have a history here with certain groups taking the power, and we remember World War I, World War II, and all the stuff that goes with it.
And Melissa H. Yeah, sorry.
And therefore, we are very careful about the whole subject.
Sure. I agree. Look, I agree. I'm just saying it's happened. It's not like it didn't happen. It's not like you're preventing it. It's happening. So to freak out about it is, it's like, well, what are you going to do about it? Well, we should pass laws. Okay, well, get on that. Get on that, Germany, who's got a better fucking government than we do. Don't tell me it's impossible. Don't tell me we're screwed. Get on it.
We are, in this concern, we are already trying to prevent that market leaders like Google, etc., have to pay their fair taxes their fair share of taxes in Europe. And there is. We Europeans are at court with Google right now.
But I'm not talking about paying for. I'm talking not paying taxes. I'm talking about trust within an organization and making sure they don't do weird shit with the software.
This is one part. If you as a corporation are so mighty to take away the decision of the people where to buy their stuff. This is the thing. They are too strong in the market, and they are covering the market completely. There is nothing left. This is monopolism,
Yeah, but you got an issue there. You got an issue there because there is no other indexing of the internet that is really worth a shit besides Google's. It needs to be national. It needs to be globalized in some way. You know what I mean? I mean, we can use other indexings and whatnot, but you're talking about something that's beyond the corporation. They've created an entity, an AI, that will eventually be the first sentient AI out there because it's going to have the combined mass intelligence of our fucking Earth. And so you're dealing with some interesting laws. We're in precedent setting, like sci-fi kind of shit here, right? Where we have to really figure out how do we deal with that? How do we deal? What happens when that AI wakes up? Does Google own it? Does it have equal right? What do we do with that? How do we know it's not awake now and Google has not got it locked in a fucking prison? I mean, we're dealing with a whole new. Let me tell you. Let me. I want to go up another level on this whole conversation to tell you where the real problem is, and it's my problem. It's your guys' problems, and you're both smarter than me. It's all of our problems because none of us have been educated as a global community with the technology. We have been kept in the dark. We have not been. Our mass media has not moved us along with the speed of technology, and it's been at the speed of what. And I just want to show this. This is personal to me because I actually had an argument with somebody else about this, and not just about scientists, but just talking about science and the difference between theory and hypothesis. We're going to look at this right now because this bugs the fuck out of me, and this has to do with ignorance and undereducation and people not understanding just the basics of how things function in a fucking universe. And I think everybody needs to understand those things. But Neil deGrasse Tyson here says, anyone who thinks scientists like agreeing with one another has never attended a scientific conference, and you don't understand the fucking concept of science as it's rendered in the scientific in the scientific method, which was created and agreed upon in the 17th century. But the scientific method is one way of exploring science. It is not science. But the scientific method does give us the best way for all scientists to come together objectively. And that is the word that we need to use. But what makes me so sad about this is the retardedness of the posts that are after this. Because, and it's actually changed since I was on it, but Here we go. So when scientists agree that climate change is real, the climate change is real. Oh snap! That's a guy making a good post. But not all climate scientists agree on climate change. In fact, most don't agree, and the ones who do agree are paid by the government to spread lies. And that's more about what we get here is people who say, there was another one that says, so when scientists get together and agree on something, it's because they're paid. And any scientist can be paid to agree on something. And that's completely ignoring and voiding the concept of the scientific method and the idea of objectivity. And you're basically treating scientists like what you think a thug is on a Hollywood movie or political people. Scientists are not business people. There's business people, there's scientists. Scientists are out there trying to do science. Business people are out there trying to make money, and if that happens to mean screwing people, then what not? Does that mean scientists won't lie? No, because Albert Einstein lied on his own initial formulas, on his own initial theories. They were no longer hypotheses. They'd moved beyond hypotheses into theories, but it was still a scientific theory that the rest of the scientific world had not tested, had not proven, had not come to consensus on. And there were actually events that happened after Einstein made the theory that they used as empirical evidence to prove his theory, but even he lied. You know why he lied? It wasn't for money. It was for God. So when scientists do something, they do it for weird reasons. Yes, scientists can lie for money, but Albert Einstein lied for God. That's like, talk about hypocrisy right there in the scientific method, losing all objectivity because you like your God. Anyway, yeah, Mark,
and you got to see that scientists are very picky about the theories of their colleagues, you know, and they are checking those studies or theories very, very closely in order mostly to prove there is a mistake in it, you know, because it makes them show better, show more smarter than the scientists who wrote this maybe wrong theory, you know, and. If there's an agreement about the theory, it is in my opinion it is rarely in reality then I want to say if you have three scientists, it is not very likely that they would agree on one topic, to say it like this.
Yes, exactly. And Neil deGrasse Tyson, this is a post he put in Facebook a while back, and it just explains the scientific method, why science works, why it's accurate. Okay? And the difference between a hypothesis, hypo meaning lack of, less than, hypothesis, less than thesis, right? Theory completed, but it's still something in the scientific method that is continually challenged. It's not like we decide something's the way it is and leave it. The whole purpose of the scientific method is to continue challenging it if we find evidence otherwise. And I just want to read what he says here. The scientific method which underpins the achievements can be summarized in one sentence, which is all about objectivity. Do whatever it takes to avoid fooling yourself into thinking something is true that is not, or that something is not true that is. That's it. This approach to knowing did not take root until the early 17th century. Right? To clarify, we've been doing science. There's lots of ways to do science, but this methodology was not solidified until the 17th century, when a lot of scientists got together and said, you know, it makes no sense for us to come about this from a subjective point of view. We all get different results. It'd be a lot more efficient if we came about this objectively, and why don't we set some guidelines on how to do this, so that we can all check each other's shit and make sure we're not just going off on an ego trip. Right? And if one of us is a bad apple and doing it for money, we can catch them on it. That's the bigger thing. You risk your career as a scientist if you lie, if you bullshit, if you make up stuff. That's why there are 3% of scientists that disagree with climate change. 3, not 30 or 60. 3, because those 3% of scientists are the only 3% that would take a paycheck to ruin their fucking careers. The rest of them follow the scientific method. And just for the record, I don't think this is out there, but there's been research done John Oliver was talked about on one of his shows recently, and I can grab these sources. But scientists, the other 97%, went and checked the studies of the 3%, which is part of the scientific method, which had not been done. Okay? When a scientist comes out with a theory, he hands it out to the public for peer review. And then all the other scientists come at it and go, well, let's take a look at this. Well, let's see this over here. Cold fusion had been come up with many times, and many times even the Naval Academy thought they had an answer to cold fusion. I shit you not, this is 2 years ago. And they put all of their paperwork out and sent it out to everybody and said, please let us know, because the last time, and they had done this twice, the last time they thought they had solved cold fusion, they put it out, they were very proud of it, they didn't send it out for peer review before they made a big boast about it being good, and they were wrong. So they their cred in the scientific world, right? So
Ruined.
right, and that's what it's about, right? For a scientist to be successful means you don't fuck up or lie or put out something that's full of shit, and your peers come in and go, good work, buddy. I did this experiment in my own garage, and it came out the same way, and so did Jack down the street, and right now, we all agree that this is a pretty good theory, but let's wait till more people test it. That's science. And I really wish we had people in the United States that were educated to the point where they understood that. And I'm not speaking specifically of you guys or us or everyone. I'm just saying, we weren't given an education that focused on that objectivity and the understanding of how that works. We were given an education that included the narrative that our corporations and our government were more interested in.
Yeah, and so by questioning the scientific facts, it is visible to see that in the past years, the science in America was more and more put on the same level like religion. So you can believe in religion, you can believe in science, but belief has nothing to do with the hard facts,
Right. I don't believe in science. I trust the knowledge I receive from science because I can see it. And if I understand how my universe works at a very basic level, I can understand what the scientist is trying to tell me.
Yeah, but you see the strategy behind it, If you put it on the same level like a religion,
yeah.
you can make science more and more questionable,
Oh, of course.
And this is the point. This is why idiots like Rush Limbaugh deny climate change, or he's a scientist, of course not. But he belongs to the 3% somehow, because he's a media guy.
Well, so you right there, you're hitting on a major issue that mainstream media has not addressed within itself, that needs to be addressed by laws, and we need to hold them accountable for this. And that is, they are the ones that made the choice in America to look at that scientist and go, well, I question that. Let's bring some people on for ratings and question that. Instead of saying, this is a science, they could have started this whole thing in the 80s with, we're talking with Exxon scientists, X and Y, and they're telling us here these things about climate change. And we're very concerned, and we're looking forward to having continuous discussions about this. Instead, they said, and we have this other person over here who says, you're full of shit. And for ratings, we're going to let you two have a discussion for the next 40 years while we sit back and make money. That's the real issue here.
Yeah, guys, this brings us back to the point of critical thinking skills.
Yes, it
No,
does.
for example, I read in the Texas Republican platform that critical thinking is off the schedules on high schools because they think it's something that liberals made up and so on.
Yep.
This shows you where the root for all these problems are.
Sure.
If you have people that don't get the skills for critical thinking, so
that's just part of education. That's just all part of the education process.
Yeah, if someone comes up like a strawman like Trump, and you have not the skills to differentiate between all these things, you follow them, you believe them.
If you can keep the people simple, you only need simple messages to get them follow you.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's why you see a lot of people right now, the Trump voter base and others, that are kind of happy with that. a stupider America, a simpler day. When people talk about, let's go back to a simpler time, that's really what they mean. Let's go back to when racism was okay. Let's go back to when women were not equal. Let's go back to when a man could just do what the fuck he wanted and it was okay because, man.
Yeah.
That's really what they mean when, let's go back to a time when I didn't have to use my brain cells to do more than shit, piss, and be mad. That's what it is, and it's that apeness of man that we have to swallow.
It is what we are always making fun of. It is exactly what we call the penis extension, or
Yes.
It is the penis itself, because in my opinion, everything which is connected to be liberal, left, or so is in those perspectives of those people is the feminization of themselves, an attempt to feminize them, and they don't want it. They want to be the masculine guys with a gun in the hands, with a horse under the saddle, somehow. This picture.
Yes. Sorry, I was reading the comments while you're talking and looking at what Katie was, everybody's talking about. This Katie's saying, I'm so sad as a teacher, I'm so sad of how dumb people are. How misinformed. You didn't use the word dumb. I'm sorry, Katie. But yeah.
Or what Robert is saying. I heard the Roman politician quote saying, "Get these idiots to follow you and you will win."
Yes.
Yeah. That's it.
There's no more.
In the ancient Rome, you only needed two things: bread and circus. That's it. Yes. If you could deliver this, everything was cool for the people,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And they were entertained.
Yes.
Entertained. All right. Well, that's sad and Robert laughing my ape off. Very nice. Laugh that ape off. Get those knuckles off the ground. We all need to do that. Lift off for the knuckles.
Be obedient. Don't question anything.
Oh, God. It's what makes me laugh about that was we used to watch, I don't even know what these were, but they used to tell us that was what the Cold War was like. That was what it was like in East Germany and Russia. It was, everybody was told to be the same and don't question your government. I'm like, it's the same here. We just think we have better entertainment. I think, state TV is much better over here because they let that loose with the capitalism. And George Carlin, yes.
John, East Germany, they had free health care, universal child care, and so on. So, hey.
Well, but as far as Americans knew, it was hell on earth. It was horrible, and it was all in black and white. You never really saw any color over there. It was black and white.
Politically, social, it was way better than even in West Germany.
Really? Do you agree with that, Marcus?
Yes, there is. Do you know the thing from the thingy from Volker Pispers, Dennis, where he refers to this, and he describes when the people came to Germany, and they were much more happier than the Americans are today.
Yeah. It will be the dreamland for every American. The living standard of each Germany in this past would be the dreamland or the utopia of today for the poor Americans.
Yes. It wouldn't be based on capitalism anymore, but everything would be arranged,
Would you still have wrestling?
Maybe Eastern German type of wrestling. Not so sure about this, man.
Not this entertainment wrestling, the normal old-fashioned Greek wrestling.
Yeah, maybe this.
Wow, that's boring. Anyway, that doesn't surprise me at all. But the East Germany I grew up with was scary, and nobody wanted to live in it. And that's what we were told, that we had America. America was great, and East Germany was terrible, and communism was terrible.
It was terrible because you could not get out and stuff, and you were supervised, But you didn't have to take care. What is happening if I get sick? You would get the best available treatment in this case. You didn't have to worry about a job. You would get a job, Someone would tell you what job you would get, of course,
it's interesting because what it says is even in an oppressive government like that, they understood the value of caring for their fucking citizens. Even if it's just as part of the workforce. We need to keep you healthy. We need to keep you fed. We need to keep you employed because you're a productive member of the fucking workforce. I mean, you would think capitalism would get that. Like, gosh, we could get such a better ROI on all these human beings if we fed them a little better and treated them a little less like cattle.
Yeah, you would get your apartment. You would have to wait 10 or 20 years until you get a car, if you get one. But if you would,
you apply at birth, and then by the time you're 20, you get a car.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it was fine in East Germany, but it was in a social way and how you lived and so on was way better than even Americans today live. This is all fine. Politically and all the other stuff, the Stasi and so on, we don't have to mention. This was horrible. But all the social things and so on, even we in West Germany had to learn from that.
No, our government's horrible too. We just didn't do the horrible.
You only would have to worry. If you don't like this life of living, then you have a major problem there.
Melissa, no, really, John. Russia had 75-year-old old ladies sweeping the roads. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Is it good that they had something to do? I missed the rest of the conversation. We saw those videos too. We saw those videos. The videos we used to get of communist Russia in the 80s were hilarious. I told this story before, but I'm Polish. I got Polish heritage. In 9th grade at Mullen High School, which was one of the two really spendy Catholic Jesuit high schools that I got to go to for a year and a half. Long story there. Anyway, in the first year, we did this UN project where you had to pick a country and you were supposed to work with a friend and you sent away to that country and said, I want to move there. Tell me everything about the country. And all countries have these packets that they send you just full of shit back, right? So I sent away to Russia, and I did Russia. I wanted to do Russia, which made I had to be on a list of people that were interested in Russia. By the way, that started in the 7th grade because I took a Russian language class for one day. Long story, but the federal government has me on a list of people who were interested in Russia back in the 80s. That's how weird they were. Anyway, Russia sent me a ton of shit, and it was wonderful because it was exactly the opposite of the shit that you could get on our news about what Russia looked like. Everything was in color, and people were happy, and there was ice cream everywhere, and it was always summer, and there were beautiful buildings, there were people happy. There were even pictures of people sweeping the roads, but they looked happy, like they were enjoying doing that. Our propaganda was all in black and white and gray. Everybody was sad. It's probably the same pictures, they were just in black and white with different captions. Old woman sweeping street because she's forced to, instead of happy woman sweeps street in front of her shop. Right? This is how you spin the narrative. We were told Russia was horrible. I'm not saying Russia was great. I'm just saying, I
know what you mean.
Anyway. And they were both lies, says Melissa. Yes, they were. Somewhere in the middle was some reality there. Who knows? Because people always tend to make the best of life no matter what the hell is going on, wherever they are. Anyway, we're going to switch topics really quick because we don't have much time left, and I really haven't covered everything I wanted to cover. And this is some heavy shit. This is an article by Naomi Klein about her son. She's Canadian, and they went to a part of the Pacific Northwest in Canada, just up above me, to hang out. And this was during the same period that when we were having the bad fires here, and they were all across in Canada too. Because Canada's got everything's on fucking fire still. That hasn't changed, right? You guys need to read this article, and you need to sit down with a box of Kleenex when you do it, and make sure you have a buddy that you can call, because it brought me down, and it brought me to a point of just like, if you want a wake-up call to the climate crisis, this article is it. Because she talks about how she has to explain to her 5-year-old, now that they've decided to explain to him that the Earth is in a death spiral. Because their son basically said, what's wrong with the earth? It's not stupid. There's fires everywhere, Mommy. There's hurricanes everywhere, Mommy. There's shit going down everywhere, Mommy. What's wrong with the earth was the question. And I just want to read one small piece. It's like a Michener novel in size, to be honest. It's huge. And there's a lot in here because she goes to this vacation and she goes to a lot of different places. And this is as I'm reading it, this is the same depression that I was going through and my family was going through here, and a lot of people I knew here is like, oh my God, like this is a fucking apocalyptic sun. And then the moon was the same fucking color and the same brightness, and that was fucking scary. It's like and she says that we had two suns, and the air is sickening, and it was hard to breathe, and our animals could tell there was something wrong, and the deafening sound of silence because so many animals were just struggling to breathe. And we're nowhere near one of the bad zones. This is just one piece. At the playground in the haze, I met a young mother who offers advice on how to reassure worried kids. She tells hers that forest fires are a positive part of the cycle of ecosystem renewal. The burning makes way for new growth, which feeds the bears and deer. I nod, feeling like a failed mom, but I also know that she's lying. It's true that fire is a natural part of the life cycle, but the fires currently blotting out the sun in the Pacific Northwest are the opposite. They are part of a planetary death spiral. Many are so hot and intransigent that they are leaving scorched earth behind. The rivers of bright red fire retardant being sprayed from planes are seeping into waterways, posing a threat to fish. And just as my son fears, animals are losing their forested homes. The biggest danger, however, is the carbon being released as the forests burn. 3 weeks after the smoke descended on the coast, we learned that the total annual greenhouse gas emissions for the province of British Columbia has tripled as a result of the fires, and it's still going up. This dramatic increase of emissions is part of what climate scientists mean when they warn about feedback loops. Burning carbon leads to warmer temperatures and longer periods without rain, which leads to more fires, which release more carbon into the atmosphere, which leads to even warmer and drier conditions and even more fires. That's where we're at right now. You're either in a part of the earth that's going to be too dry and too hot, or a part of the earth that's going to be underwater. And we're in a planetary death spiral. And we can work as hard as we want to fix our governments and hopefully other governments around the world. And we're seeing this. More governments are picking up the pace as they realize. But we're about to see far worse. We just got a taste of what's to come. And that's what keeps me awake at night.
Maybe it's a kind of what Dante Alighieri in his Inferno describes at this time.
I think so. Out of controlled fires, unable to breathe, the environment getting destroyed. And we were talking about it earlier that our food supplies and our food resources are going to start diminishing. They already are, just not for rich folks or well-off folks at this point. You know. But prices will continue to go up. I just wanted to... Sorry, Dennis, go ahead.
Yeah, I said yeah, I agree. That's all.
I know, Ellis, I'm sorry to be such a downer. I apologize, guys. Hey, Justin Bryce. Good to see you. Hey, Darcy. Buy real estate in Antarctica. Are they selling that these days? You don't stop climate change by posting statements on social networks. You stop climate change by voting for politicians who don't cut research and promote science denial. That's a global statement. That means for Germany and for Turkey and for the USA and whoever's got a government person, they need to be on top of the climate. We can't afford to elect people who are going to put business and profit first.
Capitalism.
It's capitalism. And before capitalism, it was something else. This is history repeating, except we've reached the point where we either break the cycle or we die. And we may die anyway. Which will break the cycle for Earth. And Earth will go, Oh, Jesus. So glad to get that shit off me.
I have a real radical thought about this.
Yeah?
We humans are so dumb. We are following something we invented. Money, capital, and so on. It's like a religion. We worship it like, this is so stupid.
Yeah.
Capitalism is like a blanket. If you put it over your chin, your feet start to freeze, and that's it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Money has no worth.
Nice.
Water and food have more worth than money.
All right. We're moving on to some other less heavy stuff because we totally didn't. I didn't do time right today. But that's all right. This was so at Twitter at 3 o'clock in the morning. Guess what I'm seeing? Ted Cruz is in the news because apparently he liked some porn on his Twitter account, which everybody's reaction was, so Ted Cruz is human after all. It's like the most human thing he's ever done. And of course, they're freaking out about it and they got rid of it or whatnot. I just want to show you what's very interesting. When I clicked on it, when I got to my computer in the morning, hang on, get this here. This was the Ted Cruz top news story. Not underneath is the story about the porn tweet, which is the top news. This was what they had running in my top news feed. This is censorship. This is screwing with the net. Because what this is a year-old fucking article with a new headline on it. See that? It says Ted Cruz made an obscure internet agency his first post-presidential crusade. And the Washington Post, and it's dated September 11th, 2017. So I click on the article, and what do I get? This. Ted Cruz has made an obscure internet agency his first post-presidential crusade by Kelsey Snell from September 15th of 2016. Why is this regurgitated? Because they didn't want you to see the real story. control the people in power. Or we are the people in power. It's just a ticking clock. To me, Arpaio is worse than Trump. Trump's a clown. Arpaio is an evil fucking man who needs to be killed. I quote the guy from the pseudo-win elections the other night. Did you guys watch that show? That was hilarious.
Oh, yes. I got it on my list.
And I'm gonna say this. He gives me hope for non-violent action by explaining the mass effect. You need enough people to believe in the non-violent action to move it over to happening. All right. But he opened up his statement by saying sometimes, and you got to see him. He looks like a lot of you watched it, but it was a great. He looks like Keanu Reeves, only like philosopher Keanu Reeves with big bushy hair. And he goes, sometimes it's just easier to have people killed. And you're like, what? But then he goes on to explain, and it's like, look, when you're talking about an evil, you know that the inmates in that prison called Arpaio Hitler, and when asked if there was any other names, they all just said Hitler. What do we do to Hitler? I'm just saying. To date, nobody has told me that they think rehabilitation would have worked for that man. I don't think it'll work for Arpaio. Crimes against humanity. What do we do with a guy like Arpaio? And how do we balance that against our will to be non-violent if we're ever going to evolve beyond knuckle draggers? That is the question. And how do we do that while scrambling to survive on a planet that's not happy? We got a lot of work to do. We really do. Miss Texas ripped into Trump, and it was great. I'm not going to play it. We're out of time, but you should watch it. Go Google Miss Texas. Miss Texas, you should run against Ted Cruz.
Yes.
Get rid of that piece of shit. I'd love to see you in office somewhere. You were well-spoken, you were articulate, and you nailed it with Trump. So please, run for office, Miss Texas. I welcome to have Miss Texas on We the People, whether you're running or not, because I think we can convince you to run by the end. So come on. If you guys haven't seen that, look it up. Yes, Arpaio is a piece of shit, or whatever that's supposed to be. That's supposed to be the chocolate kiss emoji or something.
Everyone said perfectly in the chat. Arpaio equals shit.
Yes. Yes. We do have time for this video though, because this is something that who was just talking about this? One of the people I've interviewed on We the People was talking about this energy, and now I can't remember who it was. Thorium. Who talked to us about thorium?
So the thorium reactor, this was it Michael? No, it was not Michael. It was hold on. There are so many candidates already.
I don't remember who talked to me. Whoever was talking about thorium. It wasn't Michael. It was a woman.
Wasn't Michael. No. It was a woman. Yes.
Well, who did we just have?
I don't have the folder ready with the copies. So.
Oh, hang on, everybody. I have it. It was. Oh no, because we delete them off the sheet.
You mean Danielle?
Was it Danielle? Yes.
Was Danielle?
Yes. It was Danielle. That's right. Okay.
Daniel Palat. Yes. Very good,
Daniel Palat. Great. Okay. So anyway.
Gosh, you old farts with your brain. Memory.
You watch it, you young whippersnapper.
Yeah.
I love it too.
All right. Here, let's watch this. I haven't even watched this myself. It's about thorium. I guess the Dutch are getting on it.
So we can get to the polls and vote and stuff.
Where?
To the polls and votes.
Don't worry, I'll be home before that.
Okay.
I'll call you later when I need it.
Okay.
Okay, don't worry.
Bye.
We will have time.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
everything that was said in that video, Danielle had said. Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know my shit on thorium reactors. I'm going to have to look some of this stuff up. And there it is. Right? I mean, and what's interesting is you're like, how soon, how much into development? So they're saying 15 years they'll have a power plant on the grid. Right? I think that's phenomenal. I think in 15 years we're going to be in fucking catastrophic disaster across the whole planet. Food supplies are going to be almost to the end, and we're going to be fighting each other for scraps.
Yeah.
I think thorium reactors are great, but I think in 15 years we're going to be hell on earth everywhere because our infrastructures and resources will have been pounded to fuck by the climate that we've already changed that we're waiting to have happen. Okay? That's my view. I hope we correct that sooner than I hope. But cool idea, and it. Well, Julie loves saying salt is very corrosive, though. But yeah, but they have stuff that's not salt reactive. But you're right, it is. Started a Oak Ridge in 1968.
Units in front of me right here.
I know we had some stuff going on here too. It's a no wonder we went for uranium. My guess is that thorium salt didn't make good explosions. I know that uranium better explosions. Right? And let's talk about uranium and explosions because we'll just go real quick on this. I did promise. So there were people that were thinking about shooting at the hurricane. The Florida authorities were like, please don't shoot at the hurricane. And then there were lots of people asking, why don't we just nuke it? Why can't we blow it up? And in reality, what they're saying is, can't we, we'll just go with the misguided science that they're using. Nuclear bombs displace a lot of air. If we were to put nuclear bombs in the hurricane, could they disrupt the airstream, displace all that air quick enough or whatever, so that the hurricane would stop spinning and the weather system would slow down? And then they even took it a little farther to say, well, why can't we hit tropical storms before they start building up and just nuke them? And so we're going to be a little late just to cover this again, but let's just think about a couple things. One, so nuclear waste in general in the air, not a good idea. Never. Two, nuclear waste in the air at 100 miles an hour, spinning rapidly outwards in a system that's going to carry it for hundreds of miles.
Look at this.
Such a bad idea. Such a bad idea. But let's assume both of those problems were taken care of and it wasn't even nuclear reactive and all we were doing was exploding ginormous bombs. The energy, and this is NOAA. NOAA did research on this. Here, I'll show you. Why can't we just, we're going to look at the research. NOAA basically talked about this. And here. What it says is that during each hurricane season, apart from the fact that it might not even be where's the number? I gotta find the numbers. I missed the number. Here it is. Yeah, sorry about that. Hurricanes release about 1.5 trillion joules via wind. That's joules of energy per second, which is nothing compared to the 600 trillion joules per second they release through cloud rain formation. If one kept this up 24 hours, they would release the equivalent of 824,914 little boy atomic bombs. By NOAA's calculations, hurricanes can replace the heat release equivalent, can replicate the heat release equivalent to a 10 megaton nuclear bomb exploding every 20 minutes. They imply that a nuclear weapon is too weak to actually cause any sort of major change in terms of the passage of a hurricane. Think about that. Forget about the stupidity. When you think about the power of nature, we see a beautiful picture of a rotating eye from space, and then we see Jim Cantori being blown around on the ground. But the force of that, the physics in the force of a hurricane make a nuclear bomb, a 10 megaton nuclear bomb, look like a Trump hand. That's why it's a dumb idea, and that's why scientists study fucking science, not numbskulls who want to drop bombs into the weather.
And to come to this thought, to sort of problems with guns to shoot at things which disturb. I cannot follow this from the start, you know.
No. I don't even. It's Americans. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay.
It's our education system. I don't know what to tell you. All right, we're gonna run a little late, but there's two things I gotta run. Just cause. It's Tesla stuff. We're talking about unlocking the power. This is, I don't know who these guys are. Auto Top NL, but they did a Tesla Model SP100D ludicrous settings. He just floors it, and he's on the Autobahn. And I want you to not only see this, but hear it, because it's remarkably quiet.
You need to reconsider your decision this match, or I swear to you, I will drag your ordinary ass down the back ring, and I will make this decision for you. The champion's not on the way long, Nick Foley is here, and I guess he's going to give us his answer. So I made my decision, Triple H. I'm going to take an ass kicking, but I'm going to take it right there. Nick Foley's here. Triple H. Nick Foley's on. Nice man, but not there. Nick Foley fights her. Back off. Thank you. Let's go. Let's go. I know that you want. Let's go. Let's go. You're just a still dead.
This must be a really nice German desktop.
It is the Netherlands.
I just wanted to show you that because there's no stretch of American highway that is that smooth or without potholes.
250 kilometers per hour. This is ridiculous.
That's almost 150 miles an hour, right? Or a little more than 150 miles an hour, actually.
I don't know how much it is in miles per hour.
So it's like 155. Yeah. It's pretty fast. Yeah, that's pretty fast. And quiet. Yeah. And it took off like a fucker. I mean, that was just... Right? Oh, man, I had this thing. So, I'm not going to run this. There's this thing... Cassini. Not Cassini, right? Cassini, we sent it out a long time ago. I don't know how long ago. 10 years plus. It got to Saturn. It took a bunch of incredible pictures of Saturn. It did its final looping, which it actually went inside the rings. Right? So at first it was orbiting outside of Saturn. It was doing all these cool loops, and then it went inside the rings for a final 20 loops, and then it burned itself up in the atmosphere. And the coolest thing is that it captured a picture of Earth from inside the ring, looking back at us. That's us. From inside the rings as Cassini goes to smash into the atmosphere of Saturn. And apparently there's footage of that. I don't know when I don't think it's happening yet. They've left basically the transmitter so that as it dives into the atmosphere, they're going to get as much data as they can, as many pictures as they can before the thing burns up. But that's us. That's how small and insignificant we are. And we're not even out of our own solar system. That's Saturn. That's not far away. A speck. Just a speck. And that made me think of Pale Blue Dot, which is what we're going to go out with today, because we got to remember how fragile we are, how insignificant we are. We're going to listen to Carl remind us. This is from the original. If you're not familiar with it, Carl Sagan recorded this, and I'm not going to remember the exact date, but I think it was Voyager 1 as it left our solar system. And this is the truth. I've talked about this before. As it left our solar system, I believe this happened in '92. But don't quote me on the year. Carl Sagan was like, why don't we turn it back around and have it take a picture? It wasn't part of the plan. So they turned it around and had to take a picture, and they captured Earth in the picture in a band of the Milky Way. And it's just so amazing to realize how small and insignificant we are. And I think that's what frustrates me about being alive right now, is that I know there's so much more out there. So much more we could learn about our own planet if we were focused on it. And I'm left here with a bunch of knuckle draggers and a bunch of friends who wish we were doing something better. See you guys tomorrow.
From this distant vantage point, the Earth might not seem of any particular interest. But for us, it's different. Consider again that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering. Thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines. Every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization. Every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on the mote of dust, suspended in a sunbeam. The Earth is a very small stage in a vast cosmic arena. Think of the rivers of blood spilled by all those generals and emperors, so that in glory and triumph they could become the momentary masters of a fraction of a dot. Think of the endless cruelties visited by the inhabitants of one corner of this pixel on the scarcely distinguishable inhabitants of some other corner. How frequent their misunderstandings, how eager they are to kill one another, how fervent their hatreds. Our posturings, our imagined self-importance, the delusion that we have some privileged position in the universe, are challenged by this point of pale light. Our planet is a lonely speck in the great enveloping cosmic dark. In our obscurity, in all this vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. The Earth is the only world known so far to harbor life. There is nowhere else, at least in the near future, to which our species could migrate. Visit? Yes. Settle? Not yet. Like it or not, for the moment, the Earth is where we make our stand. It has been said that astronomy is a humbling and character-building experience. There is perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceits than this distant image of our tiny world. To me, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another and to preserve and cherish the pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known.
Fatality. Finish him.